Good morning. Mr. Singer, would you introduce yourself? Tell us your name and DOC number, please.
Excuse me, ma'am?
Introduce yourself. Tell us your name and DOC number.
My name is Malt Singer, 331625, ma'am.
Right, and counsel, would you introduce yourself, please?
Yes, ma'am. Good morning. My name is Amy Myers. I'm a staff attorney with Louisiana Parole Project on behalf of Mark Singer. Thank you.
Mr. Singer, let me just acknowledge the folks who are here in support today. We have Carrie Myers with the Parole Project, Norris Henderson with R72, and your family here with you, Ms. McInnes. Also on Zoom is Con Meads and Edward Johnson. First, I'll read some identifying information into the record, Mr. Singer, and then Mrs. Wise will take the lead on the interview process with. So, Mr. Singer, you're classified as a first felony offender. You're currently serving a life sentence for a second-degree murder conviction in 1993 in Queens Parish. Is that information correct, Mr. Singer?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, could you answer Mrs. Wise, please?
Good morning.
Good morning, ma'am.
How's it going?
I'm all right.
Good, good. Just wanted you to breathe. You've been here before. Your last hearing was in August of 2020. Is that correct? And you were denied. You were
Yes,
denied. Your DB, you had a very poor disciplinary record at that time. I think it's one of the. Okay. Then you were granted a rehear on January the 12th of 23, and so now we're here. Is that right?
Yes, ma'am.
Call out for the record how long you've served on this life sentence.
This month will make 31 years, ma'am.
1 year this month, okay. And how old are you today?
I'm 47, ma'am.
47. So that means that you were 16 when you started this sentence.
Yes, ma'am.
Hey, sir.
I was 16 when I was arrested.
Tell us a little bit about that 16-year-old that got arrested.
Ma'am, at the time, I could say I was real immature. I was lacking in a lot of areas, education being one. I was lacking guidance and awareness, and eventually my surroundings, I adapted to my surroundings, and before long I went astray.
Tell us a little bit about your offense, the reason you got a life sentence. What do you remember?
Ma'am, I remember my co-defendant, Joseph Hampton, and Mr. Darrell Robinson had a physical altercation in a house party that we attended. I remember our attitudes and aggression was still high the following day, where it continued. Only this time, weapons were involved. Me, myself, still angry at the situation with the mind state I was in at the time. I possessed a weapon and I fired shots at Mr. Robinson and killed him. Something I'm very regretful for. And I'm here today to accept full responsibility.
I appreciate that. Were you under the influence of anything on that day? Were you using anything?
No, ma'am. No, ma'am.
Sober.
Yes, ma'am. I never done any drugs, ma'am.
So the beef wasn't with you, you were just with your friend, right?
Actually, yes, ma'am.
With the other guy, okay. All right, let's fast forward today. Call out for the record some of the programs you had an opportunity to take that had an impact.
Recently or?
Period. Whichever one that helped you. That had an impact on you.
I believe that CPR has really helped me a lot. There was once upon a time where I didn't really care much for people. Being young, coming through the system. And I had to like keep that macho type image, and Karen basically was considered to be weak. But CPR opened all this up for me to have compassion for one's life and to save them. I've been dealing with CPR over 20 years now, where I facilitate classes before leaving Angola State Penitentiary. I would teach offender population how to identify medical emergencies and how to assist up until vast care arrive. Me being on the CPR team, we act as an in-between, hands on hand with security to respond to medical emergencies. And I've been doing that a long period of time.
Yeah, I read your record there. You okay. We'll talk about that later. What other programs you taking to help you? Anything else that you went
Yes.
through?
It was several programs. One for sure was Thinking for a Change, where I learned how to correct my thinking error. Dealing with Thinking for a Change, I learned the tools and the skills pertaining to self-changing skills. I learned social skills, and I learned about problem-solving skills. When applying them through Thinking for a Change, I got to just stay in control of my thinking as well as my feelings versus not and getting me into trouble. Through my social skills while taking Thinking for a Change, I learned how to better communicate with people, for staying on a positive note. And with my problem solving skills, I know how to identify my situation and the consequences that I'm facing before interacting or intervening in the negative thoughts. So that course there helped me a lot. I participated in substance abuse awareness, where they taught a transaction analysis class. During this transaction analysis class, it helped me to better understand self as well as the people who I come in communication with by simply identifying certain ego states, where I was able to learn how to deal with the adult ego state, parent ego state, as well as the child ego state. When identifying the adult ego state.
Stop you there. Okay. I'm convinced you paid attention. I am convinced. I'm gonna go ahead and stop you there. I said, I am convinced that the money was well spent on teaching you. And I do want to, go ahead.
I'm sorry, what
She said that's a good answer. She's happy.
oh.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
You didn't hear me. I said, I'm gonna stop you there because, yes, sir. I just wanted to see, it's important to me that you get something out of the classes, and you demonstrated to me that you have gotten something out of the classes. So that's what's important, not that you take them, but that they make a difference, and I see you did. I do want to state for the record and the information that we got that you are credited with saving 5 lives with your CPR skills. Is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
2015, 2020, and 2 in 21 and 2 in 22. Is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
And you also, you got your high set in 1998. Do you have any other education besides your high set?
Yes, ma'am.
Go ahead.
Yes, ma'am. I received certification as a BLS instructor, as well as certification as an applicator.
As a what?
An applicator dealing with pesticide.
Oh, great. Okay, so I did see that. Okay, great. Yes, sir. I saw that. And so that, when was your last write-up?
Ma'am, my last write-up was in 2018.
Now, how many of you had in its 31 years total?
I believe 37.
That's what I'm. Yes, sir, that's what I'm showing as well. Tell us about your transition plan if you're successful today.
Ma'am, if successful, I will be going into the care of the parole project that has a transitioning team concerning my housing, who will be apparently a peer mentor to help me with my transition, as well as finishing that, I will be in the care of my aunt, who will also be helping me and assisting me, as well as my sister as well.
I see that you're enrolled in the victim impact class and you're scheduled to graduate in August of 23. Is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, that's all I have. Thank you for answering my questions. Warden, what can you share with us about this young man?
I'll be brief. I know a couple people want to talk. The only thing I can say is, he's been doing well. He's a mentor. I'd like to see him finish that victim impact course, as well as help us get a few more of these programs started. We're starting a few more programs in transition where he's actually housed at, and in Fox 5 for young adult program. So I'd like his help to get that off the ground, as well as finish that victim impact.
Thank you, Warden. I appreciate it. That's all I have, Mr. Chairman.
All right, we'll hear from the folks who want to speak. First, we'd like to hear from President Ms. McKinnon, who's there with you. Ms. McKinnon?
Oh,
Ms. McInnes is on Zoom, Mrs. Wise.
Okay.
I believe she's on Zoom.
Is she on the PLC?
Yeah, I believe she. Okay, she logged out of trouble.
She's trying to log back in, so we'll move on. How about Mr. Hunley with the Parole Project?
Thank you, Andrew Hunley with Louisiana Parole Project, here to confirm for the board that Mark has been a client of our organization now for several years, and we look forward to providing him reentry support if he's giving the opportunity to release today. As you're aware, our organization has provided reentry support to over 100 juvenile lifers who've come home over the last several years. We feel like since Mark's last parole hearing, he's done everything that's been asked of him, and he's shown maturity and growth and continues to go in that direction. If he's released, we will provide him that reentry support, which includes a mental health and substance abuse evaluation. Immediately upon release, he'll have access to our staff social worker and a staff of reentry specialists who for a minimum of 1 year will provide him case management services. I must say that I've known Mark before I started thinking about it about 20 years. Mark was Louisiana Institutional Boxing Association champion. Way back, I started thinking to myself, it's crazy to think 20 plus years ago, I got to know Mark through boxing. And I'd like to believe that we're still young men, but whenever you go to talking about, we met each other 20 years ago, I guess we're getting a little bit older. At the time, he was a lightweight and a light welterweight. And I think those days are far past, but just as he was tenacious and dedicated as a boxing champion, I know that he has the commitment to see the course through, and we're going to be happy to help him with his reentry if the board sees fit. Thank you.
All right, thank you. And Mr. Henderson.
Good morning. Sorry, we had a little power outage right there and lost me. Yeah. I caught the tail end of Andrew speaking, and Andrew is kind of like attesting to some of the same stuff that I would say about Mark. I've been knowing Mark since it's the whole 31 years he's been incarcerated. Like Andrew say, he was our kind of like lightweight champ for years. So he has a lot of talent. I was one of the people who initially trained Mark to be a CPR instructor. And I'm really impressed with the transformation from the last hearing to this hearing. Just seeing really how Mark really took heed to what was instructed of him to go and do. And I think Mark has done everything that this board had asked him to go and do to reconcile with his behavior, not necessarily, can't change the events of what happened 31 years ago, but to make some amends about how he was conducting himself over the last couple of years. And I think Mark has done that. So I would ask this board that when it gets ready to vote, that they vote to grant Mark his parole. Our organization is here in the city willing to provide wraparound services for Mark and to help him navigate this terrain. One of the challenges for folks like Mark, he was 16 years old, you know, and the whole world has changed from this 16-year-old kid. And because of our organization, you know, we are made up of former incarcerated folks who can help him navigate how to interact within the community to make himself a productive citizen. So I would ask this board to, when the time comes, to grant Mark parole. Thank you.
Thank you. And Ms. McInnes, is she back with us?
On the list, it says she's a.
Oh, Henderson.
Yeah, I'm not sure. The lady who's there, does she want to speak?
Yes.
Go ahead, ma'am. Tell us your name and your relationship to Mr. Singer.
How you doing? Good morning.
Morning.
How y'all doing today? My name is Sandra Dorsey. I'm his sister. I just want to express my deepest condolences to the victim's family. First of all, your thoughts and is in my prayers. I'm very nervous right now. I watched my brother in the system for a long time. We lost both our parents. And while my brother was in jail, my brother had grown a lot. Talking to him on the phone, expressing my breast cancer situation, that I overcome that. He prayed with me, stuff like that, and my help with my children growing up now, and we will definitely have his back and support him coming home, have a new grandbaby on the way, so he has nieces and nephews that's really gonna have his back. And I'm sorry if I'm lying, but thank you. I wish y'all give my brother a second chance.
Thank you for being. Appreciate hearing from you. All right, Mr. Singer, is there anything you'd like to say to the panel before we turn it over to Ms. Myers?
Yes, ma'am. I would like to express my deepest remorse and sympathies for Mr. Robinson's family, loved ones, and friends. I understand that the crime that I committed against them caused a lot of pain and suffering. But I am here today accepting full responsibility for my actions. And this is something that I probably couldn't do when I was a juvenile due to the mental state I was in at the time. But I know I was wrong, deeply regretful for what I've done. And since then, I made the necessary changes that was needed to make concerning my behavior patterns and my thinking patterns. I also would like to express my apologies to my family for putting them through this whole situation as well. And last but not least, I would like to thank you all for having me here today, for giving me the second chance. I would also like to thank my supporting staffs. And last but not least, I would like to express to you women, if given a chance, I can make a difference. Thank you.
Ms. Myers?
Thank you, ma'am. If granted parole today, Mark will be greeted by a host of formerly incarcerated community leaders that have made this honorable committee proud of their decision to release him from prison. The company we keep really does matter, and Mark keeps excellent company. Not many of us can say that we've saved a life, but Mark has saved at least 5 lives over the last period of time in prison. I hear that the warden would like to have Mark's help in setting up more programs, and that he would like to see Mark complete victim impact. Mark has already completed the letter writing portion of that program, where he has written a letter to the victims. He has also spent a lot of time reflecting. As you can see today, he expresses genuine remorse, and we do not have strong victim opposition in this case for whatever reasons. Not to say that the victims were not terribly affected by the senseless crime that Mark committed. Mark was just 16 years old when he committed this crime, and our legislature acknowledges that juveniles have a huge capacity for change, and Mark exemplifies what is possible for juveniles. He's got outstanding achievements, and he's been a community leader in the prison, and he will bring that back to the community if granted parole today. He's had many ups and downs over 3 decades, but he's now got the skills, morals, and transformation necessary for release. The time to release Mark really is now. He's joined by his friends, family, and the Louisiana Parole Project in respectfully requesting that you grant him immediate release under any conditions that you deem necessary. Thank you.
Thank you. All right.
Yes, Mr. Singer, it was a pleasure meeting with you today. It was a pleasure speaking with you today. I just want to commend you on how you prepared yourself. You've done an excellent job. You did all the work. Just good to see it. I had the opportunity to vote for you last time. I think I voted Grant last time. And I am honored to be able to vote a Grant again this time. Your outstanding institutional record, the warden's comments, your good programs, and your excellent transition plan. That's Grant is to the Louisiana Parole Project for a period of time that deem appropriate. Take it slow. Stay as long as you need to stay. And I want you to do community service to begin 6 months after release at 7 hours a month. You got BLS skills, you got mentoring skills, so however you want to do them. And that 7 hours includes your preparation time. And I grant is conditional after you complete the was August of 23 when you complete the victim impact and work with the young adult program, the 18 to 22-year-old award when you assistance in. So take your time and sit on the front row and really absorb it. Best wishes to, that's my vote. I'm only one vote.
Thank you.
Singer, you have done a good job over the last number of years of your incarceration. My vote likewise is to Grant.
Good. No.
Mr. Singer, I do agree. My vote also is to grant under the same conditions stipulated by Mrs. Wise. We wish you well. Good luck to you.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, ladies.